blame Lori for Shane sticking around because she asked him to stay and didn't say anything about, this is for Carl. It's not because I don't have any feelings for you. She didn't say that. So that sort of left the door open for it. So, and I'm not sure what's going on with her as far as that goes, but either way, no, this whole time I've thought Shane wants to take Lori away from Rick.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I think so.
So, anything else?
Let's have a look. Oh, this episode has Peter's favorite line ever in it, which is when when Dale is telling Shane to go away and they do a bit of product placement where he's like, take your fancy new ride, and it's like, yep, Hyundai product placement. I have some notes about Glenn and Maggie. Well, a point about Glenn and Maggie, which is just that their relationship in this episode is much more layered than I first thought. I always thought at this point they were still kind of casual, but I think here you can see the kind of depth of feeling that Maggie has for him in the way that she is so frustrated with the way that he's being treated by his own group. She talks about him being smart, you're brave, you're a leader. She clearly cares about him. She talks about losing the other people that she cared about most. As well as that, when she joins him on the pharmacy run, he talks about you can hate me from a distance, but forces her to speak, and and now my dad's pissed at me. They have that interaction about what do you call the walkers. What she's upset about is that he'll keep a secret for the group, but not for her. But it turns out that he's happy to share the secret with her. He just doesn't really know what Laurie's asked for, so he hands her the piece of paper. At which point Maggie says, "You've got to be kidding me," and I'm just, yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? He said he didn't know what it was.
I think he wouldn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
I think he would have, if he'd known, he would have been like, "You want me to get what?" And I think she'll have given him the drug name or something, and he'll have found that. Sidebar: the fake morning after pills were really funny. They were just like, blue box morning after pill. I was like, sure, that's what it looks like. And I felt so bad for Maggie in the scene in the pharmacy. That attack is brutal. She's so upset by that attack. And Glenn comes in and saves her.
That shocked me. I had forgotten. I jumped.
And I forgot that it gets up.
Oh,
and it gets up with his head hanging off afterwards. And Glenn has to go back and do it. It's just such an upsetting... And she is almost bitten. That's a very, very close call. So her anger at Laurie made a lot more sense to me the second time around watching it. But it ends with her and Glenn in this quite powerful place, I guess, where she tells him how much she values him and kisses him. And you get the feeling that there's a lot going on with Maggie. She's starting to question what her dad believes and her own beliefs. And she's sort of helping her dad hold up this thing that she's not really sure she believes in with the barn and dealing with her own grief. And I don't know, I just thought Glenn and Maggie, it's so much more layered coming back to it than I remember it being. And I really enjoy watching them both. I thought this was lovely. And I thought the way Glenn looked after her after the attack and held her close was very sweet. Everyone should have a Glenn.
I think, this episode to me feels like when they become a couple. When she kisses him and says, "You're smart, you're brave, you're a leader, but you don't know it, and your friends don't want to know it. They'd rather have you fetching peaches." Wait, peaches? Is that right?
Yeah, because he's given out the peaches earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a dead guy in the well. Send Glad down. You're walker bait.
Walker bait.
Can't take you becoming one of them. Walker bait. And that, I'm just like, she's so good for him. She just helped him level up. She helps him become self-actualized. That's exactly the kind of partner that you want to have.
Yeah. They're so good for each other.
Yeah, they're really good for each other. Sigh. I had a point about him too. It's really funny to make him be the one to learn the secrets, the zombies in the barn and Laurie's pregnancy, because he's so bad at it and he played it so well. I suck at lying. Can't even play poker.
Oh, it's so good.
And then when T-Dog's like, "What's up?" and he's like, nothing's up. Why? And I think the funniest moment on The Walking Dead, at least up to this point, is when Dale catches him in a lie about the spark plugs and goes, "Want to tell me what's going on? You're old. You're you know things. So what if somebody told you something that somebody else should know? Glenn, stop being dramatic. Spit it out. There's walkers in the barn and Lori's pregnant.
He just gives up and he's like, there's walkers in the barn and I was pregnant.
Lori's pregnant. And he did kind of betray Maggie there, though. He should have,
yeah.
if he was going to tell, he should have told her, at least told her he was going to do that first.
Absolutely.
So anyway. All right. Shall we move on to notes?
Yeah. I don't have that.
Oh, wait, one more thing. I'm sorry. When Glenn and Maggie are having this conversation about whether walkers are just sick people, now I can't help but think of how she whacked that one with her bat, you know, because we had that conversation with Dina last time. Oh, well.
Oh, Maggie, you contain multitudes. I don't have that many notes. I couldn't rewatch the cold open. I can't watch the chickens getting their wee legs broken.
Oh,
makes me so upset. I can't do it. The noise is awful. So I skipped that after the first rewatch. I enjoyed Daryl forgiving Andrea and kind of enjoying the power a little bit. Like, you're trying to protect the group. We're good. Like,
I felt like that was a big shift from how he would have been in season 1.
Yeah, you fucking shoot me.
Yeah, what the hell,
bitch? But next time she shoots him, best pray I'm dead. Which
that
made me
felt
laugh.
almost like flirtation.
I love that.
She smiles.
Lots
of forgiving in this, by the way. Daryl forgave Andrea for shooting him. Maggie forgave Glenn sort of implicitly for telling Dale about the walkers in the barn. Lori forgave Glenn for telling Dale about her pregnancy. Rick forgave Lori for having been with Shane. Dale forgave Shane. No, Dale didn't forgive Shane.
I liked the little drama of Carl stealing the gun and everyone being pissed off about him like lying, and I thought that was very funny. I think Chandler Riggs is doing really well, actually. I remember being quite down on his acting, but I thought he was really good in this episode.
I think he's good, but this is where I'm starting to feel it's not quite as believable as he was up to this point. Still good.
He's no Judas.
Not quite. Yeah, he's no Kaylee Fleming.
Dale and Herschel together. My wife and stepson, they're people. Whether the walkers are people or not is an interesting question. And we spoke a little about the man of conscience idea. And Laurie finding out that they may not be staying permanently is a really interesting moment. When Andrea's trying to shoot the log that's swinging, Shane says that it's still a virgin, which gives me the absolute heave. So thanks for that, Shane. You are a dick sometimes.
What does that mean?
It's not been shot. Hasn't been penetrated by a bullet. Lovely. I don't think I have any other notes. I think that's me.
I forgot I had a point about Carl. You mentioned Carl. So when he calls Lori a housewife, it is very sexist. Tells her, don't worry, that's my job. No, it's not. You're a housewife. I was trying to figure out what it even meant. And I think, it plays into the themes of gender roles that have been in The Walking Dead for the first couple of seasons. But I think mostly it's just about Carl. Well, it's both. It relates, but him wanting to see himself as a protector, He's like, okay, I got shot. There's zombies everywhere. This is a dangerous world. I need to learn how to use gun and protect my mom, who's a housewife, that kind of thing.
My mom, who's a housewife. Yeah.
And then he says matter-of-factly that maybe the mother chicken got eaten, and he says everything's food for something else. And he's just grappling with the reality of this world. But I think this is where we started thinking maybe the zombie apocalypse is turning Carl into a little psycho, I don't remember ever feeling like that until now. And then it makes me, of course, think of that season 3 episode where he shot that kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think all this stuff about Carl worrying Lori is also just about adding to her worry about bringing another child into the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. So my notes, I'd forgotten that Karen and David actually podcasted on last week's episode Chupacabra originally back in 2011 because I was in Atlanta.
Oh, no way.
Because I went back to listen and I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't even on that one. Huh. So that was my first time to be able to do a full podcast about it.
Aww.
With you guys. That was cool. Um, there's a scene where Rick's still looking at maps, planning routes to find Sophia, and I'm like, oh, how many days has it been since they've? Do you know? Since Sophia was
So we're
shot
on
or
day
not shot,
70 of the
left.
apocalypse, and we left Sophia on day dun 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 67.
So 10 days. Oh, 3 days. That's it.
No, 66. 3 or 4 days. Yeah, not long.
Okay.
Under a week.
Feels like about a year.
Feels like a millennia.
They're like, well, she would be in college by now, so let's check out the colleges.
She may have enrolled.
Let's see. I think I had a couple. Oh, one other note is that Rick, he has a secret too. That Herschel expects them to leave his farm, and Laurie's upset that he kept that from her, and he says, it's not what I want either, but if we have to go, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure you and Carl are okay. We'll get by. We will. And that got me thinking about where they go next, the prison, and what happens to Laurie there. So maybe he was a bit optimistic on that one.
Yeah. At least she won't be born in a ditch. She will be born in a cell block.
When he comes out of he finds out that she died, he's in the prison yard, I guess, and he's really upset, doubled over. And they kept using that for memes where he's telling jokes to Carl. Jokes. Yeah. So now I keep thinking of that. And in this episode, when Maggie is saying to Glenn, I think it's when she's saying you're brave and you're strong, or somewhere in that scene, in that bad lip reading thing, they have her saying something sexual there.
I rewatched that. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it's great.
I can't. That's what I think of, though. I got to go back and get the line.
Later, Gator.
Anyways, all right. What else do you have for trivia?
Timeline. We're on day 70. IMDb dive was terrible for this episode. It was with 2 points. One was that the book that Andrea gives Daryl is The Case of the Missing Man, which is book 10 of the Farm Mystery series by Stephen and Susie Castleberry. The second fact, Farm which mystery. I thought was just such a waste of internet time, is the title of this episode comes from Glenn keeping Maggie's secret and Laurie's secret. Just in case you hadn't figured that out.
I love how clever they are with these titles.
I know. I'd been agonizing over that. So I, for one, I'm glad that I found that out.
Only on The Walking Dead would shooting walking corpses get someone hot.
Only on The Walking Dead would chicken wings be unappealing.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
All right, a few quick things. One, you may have heard Steven Yeun won his first Emmy.
Yay!
Outstanding lead actor in a limited series for his role as Danny Cho in Beef. If you haven't seen Beef and now you've decided to watch it, you should also check out the episode of this podcast that Karen Shee, and I did. It's number 519, in case you're curious. And I thought that episode turned out really well.
Amazing.
Next, comicbookmovie.com said that the role of the Sentry, which Steven Yeun stepped down from, was rumored to have been offered next to actor Austin Abrams, who played Ron Anderson in seasons 5 and 6 of The Walking Dead.
Oh, shit.
Ron Anderson was Sam's older brother, right? And wasn't he like annoying?
He was a douche, yeah. Full douche.
He was a douchebag, right?
He was a real douchebag,
and if this is rumors to be believed, he was offered the role and he passed on the role. So maybe it's just a really shitty role.
I was going to say, maybe the role is shit.
Yeah, that's like, okay, the Sentry gets crapped on by Captain America or something.
What we're doing is we're doing the Marvel Human Centipede, and you're in the middle. Like, nope.
It's great. It's going to elevate your career.
So good. It's so good. You're
hey,
really
I heard I'm going to win an Emmy. Screw you guys. Next, This April, issue number 12 of the comic book Batman the Brave and the Bold will be drawn by Charlie Adlard, who illustrated The Walking Dead. I'm only putting this in there because I saw a sample and it looks totally gorgeous.
Ooh,
and
exciting.
dark and moody. So
yeah.
Glad he's getting work. And finally, we've talked about this before, that they're doing a Last of Us 2 remaster for the PS5, and that comes out tomorrow as I'm recording this, but it will already be out by the time you hear it. Totally looking forward to playing through it again and listening to the commentary from the actors and creators. And some of the features are graphical improvements, a new single-player roguelike survival mode called No Return, where you can play as one of 10 different characters, guitar free play mode where you can play guitar as Joel Ellie or the composer Gustavo Santaolalla and strum on like banjos or different string instruments.
Excellent.
Full DualSense controller integration with adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, and things like that. A documentary that goes behind the scenes on the development, and my favorite, as mentioned, the audio commentary from the developers and the cast. So that's a $40 game if you have never bought the game before, but it's only $10 if you already have the PS4 version.
Oh, that's pretty decent price-wise.
Yeah, I think so.
That's even
cheaper. I was a little
than...
critical too. Like, they're doing a remaster. It's already the best looking game I've ever seen, but it's $10.
Yeah. I heard Walking Dead Destinies is even better though, so I would buy that instead.
Go for that. Oh man, you sadist. All right, that's it for the news. Let's move on to Lister Moans, Groans, and Grunts.
Sam Lowe says, Laurie's worries hit differently for me now that I know how things play out. Her words to Dale about the baby living to be his age. Oh, Laurie. Even Carl won't make it past his teens, but he was happy. Also, I'd forgotten how aggressively Andrea grabbed Shane's crotch, and it kind of came out of nowhere during their drive back. It led to a pretty steamy moment, but I was startled when she did it. Girl, ask first before grabbing someone's genitals for the first time.
That's what I'm saying.
Good advice.
Can I grab your crotch? I mean, that might be a little weird.
Yeah, excuse me.
Sure. By all means.
Too bad neither of these two last long. They would have been such a cute couple. Now they're probably just chilling in the afterlife, lamenting about how their poor romantic choices got them killed. I mean, you're not wrong.
Maybe Shane and Laurie are together. Thanks, Sam. Gloria Letteri, how do you say your middle name, Gloria? I want to be able to say that right. Gloria Letteri Hernan says, well, Secrets was interesting. Glenn, you adorable, awkward little idiot. LOL. Laurie, you have a medical condition. LMAO, she's only pregnant. Women's bodies are miraculous. But yeah, in this world, it's all up to chance. I forgot about that walker in the pharmacy. Scared the crap out of me. I don't think it was fair of Maggie to yell at Laurie, though. She won't find herself with Laurie's medical condition for a while. At least she was upfront with Glenn and told him she cares about him. Yeah. Shane empowering Andrea. Yes, girl. Kill those walkers. Got her all hot and horny for teacher. Oh, if I was still playing music, I you guys probably noticed I haven't been playing music anymore. It's because I got like copyright notices that I shouldn't do that, but I would totally play Hot for Teacher. Then Judgy Dale comes out again. I think he was jealous. Yes. I'm all for a woman's choice, but Laurie definitely should have told her husband and had a discussion at least. I agree with that. Great episode.
Thanks, Gloria.
Thanks, Gloria.
Alma Contreras says, I really like this episode. It seemed in this season that things had slowed down a bit, but I would argue that we needed this pace for character development. Dale really comes forth facing Glenn's secrets head on. I like the little talk he has with Laurie. I was nervous Nellie returning home in the beginning of the episode. I'm embarrassed to admit that I'd never caught that little detail until just recently.
I don't think I did either.
Oh, well, she came back. Patricia with breaking the chicken's legs makes me cringe no matter how many times I rewatch. You and me both, Alma. Well, I look forward to hearing y'all's thoughts. Alma, I hope we did not disappoint.
Alma rewatches that scene over and over again.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Just kidding, Alma. Alex Kruger says, I honestly can't tell if I like this episode or not. It crawls the story forward. Yeah, I can kind of see that. And it has some decent scenes. Plus, the acting performance by Sarah Wayne Callies is phenomenal throughout. But the episode still just feels a bit middle range. Having said that, some thoughts and observations. I think part of Laurie lashing out at Rick for keeping secrets is her guilt over keeping just as big, if not bigger, of a secret. Yeah, projecting kind of a thing. The music during the Walker attack in the pharmacy felt really out of place. I know, hot for teacher. That's so weird.
I know. Or
it would have worked for a Cobra Kai fight, but here it didn't feel right. I criticized Dale a lot for being a busybody, but damn, I have to respect him for not sugarcoating his reasons you suck speech to Shane. Granted, Shane followed it up with a solid point as to why it wasn't the best call. That's so funny. Very excited to listen to this episode so I can watch the next one. Yay. Well, I'm glad you're following along with us, Alex.
Thanks,
that's
Alex.
awesome.
Robin Springer says, "Hey y'all, I can't seem to get it together to call. Some thoughts. I've really been enjoying the coverage of the rewatch. It's interesting to hear Jason say how his feelings about some episodes have changed over time. Mine have too, in some cases, but one thing remains constant. I so disliked Dale the first go-round, and I still do. He was always referred to as the moral core or something, but he's a nosy, controlling, sanctimonious old man. Ugh. I also don't really like Andrea in these early episodes, but I became a lot more sympathetic to her later. I could see myself making the same mistakes. I was always torn on Laurie, but I like her better this time. She and Andrea, being alpha females, have interesting clashes. Also, read Daryl and the Cherokee Rose story. Any kid who went to school in Georgia learned that story in 4th grade Georgia history. Aw, that's cool, Robin. I'm glad to hear that. I imagine that Daryl was a lonesome, probably dreamy, sweet kid who really latched onto that beautiful story as he survived his tough childhood. Also, re Daryl's mother dying. After Laurie died, Daryl gruffly told Carl that his mother died in a house fire. Carl then told him he shot Laurie so he wouldn't turn. They sat together for a bit. Daryl said, "Sorry about your mom." Carl said, "Sorry about yours." And that was that. I'll try to call next week. Thanks, Robin.
That.
I wonder if the fire
thanks,
was because of the moonshine.
I don't know. Becky Fenner Anderson says, "Hey everyone, my notes on season 2, episode 6. I could not be the one in charge of feeding the barn walkers. That was rough. I feel for those chickens. Carl was very mature when talking to Laurie about everything being food for something." It was sweet. Yeah, I mean, usually you would think, except not humans, but now humans too.
We were game.
It was sweet of Daryl to forgive Andrea. Loved his line, "If you shoot me again, you better hope I'm dead." Georgia peaches are amazing. Did you get to have any while filming, Jason? Wow, that was so long ago. That was 13 years ago. 12, 13. I don't remember. I hope so. I do remember though, sitting in the cafeteria with all the other zombies eating spaghetti. It was so weird.
That
seeing
must
all
be
these
weird.
Corpses just hanging out. What's up? Talking about our day. Under different circumstances, I might have agreed with Laurie on Carl learning to shoot at such a young age, but in an apocalypse, I'm with Rick. How do they have all this extra ammo to spare for target practice, and how is all that noise not attracting more walkers? I think the ammo is a Department of Suspension of Disbelief thing.
Yeah.
And the noise is not attracting walkers because they live in a special Fear the Walking Dead style location that is somehow separate. I think there's a water around it or something. I don't remember.
I think there is.
They don't talk about it much.
Something like that. Yeah. Natural defenses.
I think they talk about it more later. Yeah. Carl looks so cute with his little gun. LOL at Laurie fussing at Rick for keeping a secret that Herschel wants them gone. What about the baby secret, Laurie? I think it was a pivotal moment for Maggie being attacked at the drugstore. Seems like that was when she finally realized they aren't people anymore. When she got back to camp, she used the term walker, I think, for the first time. I didn't catch that.
There you go.
Good catch. I'm glad Maggie laid it out for Glenn, like she told him he's far more important than he and the group thinks he is. Yep. Dang, Andrea went for it with Shane. Cracked me up when they got back. She couldn't hide it at all. Dale, what happened out there? Andrea got the D, Dale. That's what happened. Was Dale being protective of Andrea, or was he jealous? Both. Mostly jealous. Shane is starting to snap. The look in his eye when threatening Dale was intense. Yes, it was. I don't care for Laurie, but I do respect her concerns about bringing a baby into that world. Glad she finally told Rick about Shane, and he definitely handled it well. Until next time, have a great weekend.
Hey,
thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Danielle Dement Yost says, some random thoughts since I've been out of the conversation. One of the greatest tragedies in these early seasons is how Shane, who seems to have once been a very close and loved Grimes family member, became an enemy and ultimately had to be dispatched for the same family's protection. I don't think Rick ever gets the space and time he needs to grieve the loss of his closest friend, and it absolutely kickstarts him into the beast of a man he turns out to be. I think there is definitely a backstory of Rick leaving Laurie to do the bulk of the parenting while he is playing hero at work, not to diminish police work. I think Rick is a controlling person and a person who needs to be actively working towards something. Passivity is not in his nature, which is why he prefers to always have a task to accomplish, even when he really ought to just stand still for a minute and be present in the situation. He can't rest while he has a to-do list in his head, especially if he feels a sense of urgency about it. I would agree with that. Oh, yeah. Rick handcuffed Merle to the roof because he was assaulting T-Dog. Rick and Glenn went to get a vehicle they could use to leave the building and left the key with T-Dog. When Rick backs the truck up to the building, they jump in and are well on their way before T-Dog explains what happened with the key. Rick is not to blame for what happened to Merle. He expected Merle to jump into the back of the truck with everyone else. As has been discussed a little bit in the past, I was thinking this week about how fun a Walking Dead What If series could be. The first one should be What If Laurie Survived? I can imagine that character becoming a badass with Judith strapped to her chest. I didn't like Laurie much the first time through, but I'm finding her more sympathetic now and would enjoy seeing her develop as a warrior post-pregnancy.
If they could do an animated series like that, that would be so cool.
But not the same designers as Destiny.
No, like the good writers,
Yeah.
and have the actors come back and voice their parts. I mean, that's a fantasy. It'll never happen. But it reminds me, I know we're right in the middle of an email here, but recently in the back of one of those Walking Dead Deluxe color reissues of the comics where Kirkman does a lot of, he writes a lot in the back matter. I read that he said he would love to do a Walking Dead animated series that's much more faithful to the comic book.
Ooh,
but he says he doesn't know if AMC would have an appetite for that, but that would be pretty fun too.
There'd be bits in it that would be very hard to watch.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially the governor and Michonne.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to see that. If you watched Invincible, there's some pretty corrody stuff on there, but
there
nothing
really
quite
is
that horrible.
The scene between Herschel and Dale in the horse stable makes me realize how few scenes these two actors got together. I like them together. The scene between Rick and Laurie on the dirt path is, I believe, the turning point for their relationship. Her keeping the pregnancy from him more than the affair creates a wall between them that Rick refuses to reach over until it's too late. It really is a tragic love story and very traumatizing for Rick. I'm loving the rewatch. My 15-year-old just asked if we can watch The Walking Dead together, so I'll be starting over again with them, and we'll have 2 different rewatches going at the same time. Should be interesting. Love that, Danielle.
Nice.
I hope that goes well.
I'm Team Rick here. I think he's doing more right than Laurie is, but we can all pick our people.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. Rinaldi Kalik says, Jason and Lucy, thank you for continuing this rewatch into 2024. I'm happy New Year to both of you. Thanks, Rinaldi.
Oh, thanks, Rinaldi.
The reason why I love The Walking Dead so much is that even though I ranked this episode Secrets 170 out of 177 on my Walking Dead episode rankings, I still enjoyed it, though it does have its flaws. Slow episode, melodramatic at times, weak action scene with Shane and Andrea and Glenn and Maggie. Wait, what is the Shane and Andrea action scene, the one in the Hyundai or outside? Which one are you talking about? Dale was particularly weak in trying to convince Herschel zombies are corpses. But the character interactions in this episode were good for the most part, and the characters have layers that I'm enjoying seeing on screen during the rewatch, making these, quote, filler episodes enjoyable. It's not actual filler, just mocking people who always say that about slow episodes. Shane's caustic energy and aggressive style has good intentions behind it. Maybe not when he's talking to Dale, but Andrea is more skillful with guns because of it. Yeah, when it's with Andrea. Shane and Dale's confrontation was really entertaining, in my opinion, and stems from Shane seeing Dale as an idiot and a nosy busybody who will get the group killed. He also has, because Bernthal is so great, I think a hint of shame as he's walking away. He says to Dale, hey, if I'm really that kind of a person, then, you're basically threatening him. But then he kind of does a little head dip that's sort of like something else in there too.
He just picked on Granddad. Yeah.
Yeah. Dale's moral rigidness may come across as sanctimonious and arrogant. It does bother me at times, but it comes from a good place. This is shown by his moral advice for Glenn, improving Glenn's self-confidence, and Glenn's willingness to sacrifice to help the group by volunteering for supply runs. I'm not sure exactly what advice you're talking about, but I agree that most of the time it comes from a good place, not always. Herschel is in denial because he's too scared to say goodbye to his wife and stepson. He doesn't want to confront the fact that his loved ones are dead. Yes, it's stupid, but it comes from a place of unprocessed grief. Maggie may be being unfair by being angry at Glenn, but she's torn between loyalty to her father and her romantic feelings for Glenn, hence the, hey, let's just have sex and not talk to each other requests from her. Rick isn't as naive, a simpleton as his critics think he is. Rick confirms he knew about Laurie's relationship with Shane when Laurie confesses to Rick. It's clear Rick just wanted to move on from this situation by not talking about it for the benefit of the whole group and to not draw attention away from the missing Sophia. I don't know. I think he just consciously realized he was aware of that in that moment. That's the way I thought Andrew Lincoln portrayed it. That's the power of the writing on The Walking Dead. Even a bottom 10 episode has good scenes. Looking forward to the next episode on the rewatch. Keep up the good content. Ronaldo, can you write in and tell us your bottom 3? I'm curious.
I know. I want to know what the worst episodes are. Our friend Dina has written in and she starts, this is a long one. Tip of the day, don't drink wine while rewatching episodes. Alcohol induces sympathy for characters you love to dislike. Behold, the first glass of wine. Laurie, it seems, is not the bitch Maggie thinks she is, although I also thought so the first 3 times I watched this episode. Instead, she's in a state of utter fright and feeling very much alone. The look on her face when Carl unwittingly belittles her by calling her a housewife, heartbreaking, and she interprets his sensible life-death comment as a loss of joy. I think she's incorrect. Carl is just growing up. She's reading meaning into it because she's so damn scared of the future.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Mm-hmm.
After she expresses fear at bringing a child into the world only to live a horrible life, Rick accuses, how could you ever think that? How could you even think that? What? How could she not think it? And yet she's brave enough to do it anyway. Fabulous dialogue and acting in that brutal and honest exchange between Rick and Laurie.
I also, you're making me think differently about some of this stuff. And that sentiment you just had about Rick saying, how could you even think that? And you said, how could she not think it? That's a very good point too. So I'm a little bit more team Laurie there.
Shane is also adrift and suffering. He's trying so hard to do the right thing. He tells Laurie and Rick about Carl's thieving ways because they are the parents. He's supportive of them and abides by their decisions. Well done, Shane. He's clearly struggling with his very normal feelings for Laurie and is trying to overcome them. The second glass of wine had me cheering for him. Then Dale confronts him about Rick and Otis, and Shane easily slips over the edge into self-delusion and menace. Still, I felt his pain for most of the episode. The third glass of wine didn't budge my opinion of Andrea. She still annoyed me. Shane telling Andrea that she shoots like a girl did anger me, I confess, but I rewatched the scene and caught the subtle smirk on his face. He was not being a macho dick. Rather, he insulted her where she knew it would hurt to incite anger and was pleased when he saw his method working.
Yeah, I agree.
In high school, I had an English lit teacher that gave me my first F ever. He wrote in red Sharpie, if you can't write, don't bother going to college.
Oh my God.
I can assure you that I earned nothing but A's on my future thesis papers that semester. And Shane softens his method and shows his confidence by asking her to be his backup. Shows his confidence in her by asking her to be his backup. Good job, Shane. After Daryl forgives Andrew for shooting him, my husband scoffed, she always gets off too easy, to which I replied, and this episode proves it. Cue the sex scene. Go green Hyundai. And I suppose Andrea gets a cheer too, but I think the Hyundai is more deserving. I am now done with the wine and switching to water. Once again, there is some fine comedy in this episode with Daryl's comment and T-Dog scolding Jimmy. Oh yeah, the gangster shit. The finest comedic balancing act is Stephen Yeun's acting. Glenn trying to keep secrets is a delight, culminating in that delicious line, there are walkers in the barn and Laurie's pregnant. The subtle comedy act ends in the pharmacy when he saves Maggie and subsequently takes her fear and anger-ridden tirade stoically. Maggie's outburst also awakens Glenn's own sense of self-worth. This change in him is evident when he approaches Laurie as an equal and sees her pain and loneliness and simply offers her support and encouragement. He empowers her rather than frets at her as he had been, and he doesn't question her decision like Rick did. He merely offers her an alternative with the prenatal vitamins. It's a beautiful exchange. Now let's get back to Carl, an astute observer that everything is food for something else. That's because Patricia is wringing her neck to feed her friends and family. My great-grandmother also used to wring chickens' necks to feed her friends and family. There's a link there somewhere. Maybe it's as Rick says, we are the Walking Dead. Thanks, Dina.
That was wonderful. Dina sent her picture of her Daryl tattoo.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's so beautiful.
It's so good. It's
I mean,
really, really
I don't
good.
have any tattoos because I just don't want to commit to something that I might not like later
Same.
down the road. But if I did get one, I would really stress over getting a good artist because I would want it to be so good. And this is like beautiful shading, and
It genuinely is really nice.
So well done. Yeah.
I also remembered when she mentioned Patricia, and Patricia and Beth look so similar. I thought for ages Patricia was Beth's mum. Like when they're standing next to each other, like, we want to learn how to shoot. I'm like, oh my God, they really look alike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we have a few calls. We got 2 from Steve Brown, who is now with us on the rewatch. He hasn't sent anything in until now, so I'm happy to get a live Steve, and he has one that's a general thought. Which one do you want to hear first, the live Steve or the general thought?
Oh, let's go live.
Right,
live.
Hello, the cast of us. This is Steve, and I was not going to send one for this. I was going to wait until I finished watching it, but gosh, this rewatch of The Walking Dead and episode secrets starts with like nobody, Glenn, can keep a secret at all. And of course, Andrea is showing out to be the best marksman. Whew, that conversation between Dale and, what is Maggie's father's name? The character, it's escaped me now. It's Green, but yeah, that was rough, man. Him talking to Dale.
Steve, it's Herschel. Come on.
Whether these things are still worth keeping alive or not. Oh, it's tough. Okay, Shane, that's not the way to teach someone to shoot. Maybe some people respond to that kind of badgering when they shoot, but I know I didn't. Wow, and Lori has a legitimate concern about her baby growing up, and we know what Judith is going to become, but to grow up in this world of fear and like that she is kind of Glenn left him off the hook here for telling Dale. Oh, and I forgot about the argument between Maggie and Glenn about the abortion pills. Oh, I don't think I need to get into the whole politics of it, so I won't. So he brought Andrea about here specifically for target practice. Well, I guess it worked. Oh, this is gross. I remember on the way back from this, Andrea's so hyped up they stop, and she and Shane have sex. Ew. How smart is Dale that he knows when they rolled up that they had sex? Yeah, he knows. Ooh, and I forgot about Shane threatening Dale. I have no words to finish this episode, so see you next week.
So he said badgering didn't work when it sounds like he was bad, because I know Steve was in the military and maybe there were some mean instructors or something and he didn't like it. That's interesting.
I like his he pointed out about Laurie and Glenn kind of reconciling, and Laurie forgiving Glenn for telling secret. I think that's quite right. She shouldn't have put him in that position.
Yeah, and I'm glad that she figured it out right away. It's nice to see when they do nice things. I mean, as I've said before, this season doesn't have like an antagonist in the traditional sense. It's sort of Shane, but not really. So it has to be like a lot of people are very reasonable with each other.
Yeah.
It's good.
Absolutely.
All right. Here's his general thought.
Hello, the cast of us. This is Steve, and this is just some general thoughts. I'm finally getting caught up on the podcast. Hopefully, I'll catch up to you before Chupacabra. If not, I'll be there after Chupacabra. But you asked a question in the last podcast about if anybody didn't know about the barn. I was completely clueless the first time I watched. Until it was revealed, I had no idea. But now, as I'm watching, I'm just now in episode 2 of season 2, and Herschel is talking about how there's going to be a cure and we're going to get past this, and all these things showing that he doesn't believe the people are actually dead. So really the foreshadowing was there. I just didn't catch it. So, all right. Talk to you later.
Good point.
Yeah. I don't think anyone so far, we've gotten answers now from a handful of people, and they've all said similar. No one has said they figured it out.
No.
All right. One more call from Archmaester Rennie.
Rennie.
The thing I wanted to remark on in this episode is that I think Shane actually is a really good teacher. He's a complex guy. He's not a simple villain. So he does push Andrea too hard when he's having her shoot at that swinging log. He misjudged that. But then when they're in the subdivision, he stays very calm, which keeps her very calm. And he lets her do what she needs to do to take the shot. And that's a breakthrough for her. And that kind of empowering a student to make their own breakthrough like that is, I think, really good teaching. The one thing that drives me crazy about all that target practice is how much ammunition they go through, and ammunition is no longer a renewable resource. That's the kind of survivalist detail that always just drives me crazy in this show and in a lot of shows like this. But I know it's about the character drama, not about the mechanics of survival. So, in terms of character drama, Shane did display himself as a very good teacher, if also a complicated and not entirely good guy. Frankly, though, I don't really think that much of Dale either. He's a busybody and a manipulator, and I just don't think he's half as smart as he thinks he is.
Fair points, Rennie. Fair points all.
All right, that is our show, episode 561. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks to everybody who wrote or called in some really good messages this week. Next episode will be The Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 7, Sophia's in the Barn, which you'd think we'd have figured that out by the title.
Guess
Just
who?
kidding.
Sophia!
Guess who's in the barn? Exclamation point. No, it's called Pretty Much Dead Already.
If you want to write in or leave us a voice message about who you think is in the barn, you can find all our contact details at contact information at podcastica.com.
Yeah, who else is in there? And while you're there, please check out our other podcasts. We just, right now they're doing Echo, this new Marvel show that's the first TVMA Marvel